And good day to everybody, and welcome to the Dutch Mentor. I'm Walter. I'm here today with Tammy Alvarez, a longtime friend, now soon to be an official author, and certainly a thought leader. Somebody I had the pleasure of meeting quite some time ago when she did a phenomenal presentation that made a lasting memory at the Women in Leadership at Quest Diagnostics. We've been friends ever since and been sharing experiences and barriers and failures and lots of successes along the way. So I want to be the first here, at least, to congratulate you on writing a book. Writing a book is difficult.
Oh,
Putting your
thanks.
thoughts together and making it still sound like you, right? It's so easy to lose your identity, but I know that you are crisp and honest and straightforward, and I think that the book preserved that and really makes it entertaining. It makes it attractive for people to sit down and read it from cover to cover, and most important, it is tangible. So first, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, and then I'm going to do rapid fire questions around the book itself. We'll keep it to 20 minutes, so hopefully we can keep our audience attention today and that they can take something away from our conversation. So again, welcome to our chat about leadership.
Thanks, Walter. I appreciate it. Again, I'm Tammy Alvarez. I'm the founder of the Career Winner Circle, where we empower business leaders to make a big impact and love every Monday again. And that is really what we're all about, is leaning into loving Mondays. I was a corporate executive on Wall Street for decades, managed 2,000 people, 36 countries, all kinds of drama and intrigue, and I loved it until I didn't. And then when I didn't, I felt like I was stuck in this soul-crushing grind that just destroyed my will to live. And I needed to find a way out. And I ended up cashing out of Wall Street, moving to a tropical island off the coast of Belize, and starting this coaching company about 7 years ago. And it's been quite the journey. So this is the year that I was able to finally get our coaching practices and my experiences and stories of so many other people. Your story is highlighted in here as well, in the book called Escaping the Career Trap, which is really designed for anyone who doesn't wake up loving Mondays.
Thank you for the introduction. I think that I was fascinated by the fact that the Belize thing and now the Mexico City thing, you talk about taking some risk. But the beautiful thing today in a virtual world with a good internet connection, we can be anywhere, right? And we can still reach out and touch people. And that is really living life on your terms while still doing the things that you love to do. And that's by giving back and sharing experiences from which people can drive their careers. So writing a book is difficult, as I said. Picking a title is even more difficult. So tell me a little bit about why this title and how it resonates with you.
Well, like all my great ideas, it came to me at a party over some mezcal. So that is where the title came from. And I was explaining to some new friends. We had just moved to Mexico City, and we had had an open house in our building just to meet some of our neighbors. And there was a few authors, as it turns out, in our building that were expats. And I was explaining what I did for a living and how to get out of the soul crushing grind and really helping people step into the things that energize them. And I was like, it kind of feels like they're just stuck in this maze and this trap. And that's really where the whole escaping the career trap came from. And because I think the word that shows up for almost everyone at some point in time in their career is stuck. I feel stuck. And, a lot of us have what I call an accidental career, where you just kind of bob along, you have opportunities, you take advantage of them or you don't. And then you end up one day disenfranchised and you're like, how did I get here? How did this happen? And even worse, you don't know what you want to do or how to start to make those changes. And we start to get stuck in this trap of I'll never make as much money. It's too late for me. My skills won't transfer. All of these things that we tell ourselves to keep us stuck in an unfulfilled career. When you just break a few rules and start to play differently, all of these things go away. And that's what this book is about, is really helping people transform their apathy into ambition, love every Monday again by really getting out of the career trap and getting off that hamster wheel.
A little courage goes a long ways, of course. So before we wait until the 20th minute, I think what I want to do is up front. So when I wrote a book, but people told me, well, listen, you'll sell 200 copies. I said, 200 copies? Why only 200 copies? Well, you don't have any more family and friends. Some books are written to be read by many, many more people. And I believe that this is something that is a true testament, right, to what it is that you put on the paper, because people can use this, right, and have a little courage to pick up this book, to read it, to metabolize it, and to maybe say, listen, maybe there is a better way of doing things, and go to work on Monday morning with a smile on my face. So tell us real quick on where can we find your book come January 16th, I believe. Can they even come visit you and get an autographed copy of it?
Absolutely. So you're going to be able to find the book in two different places. So if you want the hard copy and really a lot of good free stuff that comes along with it in terms of guides and things that you need to move further, you can hit the website at escapingthecareertrap.com. And then you'll be able to get the hardcover book and really kind of dig into the material. Softcover, ebook, audiobook, all of that's on Amazon, so that's going to be easy to find in terms of that title as well. So we really do have something for everyone. And Walter, you're right. This book isn't just about stories and about me pontificating, for 19 chapters on how the world should be. Because I'm not that interesting, and I just don't think that people really care about that. But at the end of each chapter, we have this thing that's called brain candy. And what it's designed to do is to take all the lessons from the stories and the practical do this, not that advice that's in the book and personalize it. And so we call it the ABCs of success, right? So you're going to assess, baseline, and then conquer. And so in each chapter, you've got these brain candy sections that you can journal off to the side and really start to take concepts and apply them to you specifically. So then you can start to take action and have the career and the life that you want for yourself.
So if I pick up the book, can I pick it up and go anywhere in the book and read it? Or do I need to read it from beginning to end?
Nope, it's designed to really lean in wherever you're interested. We've got 4 different parts of the book, right? So part 1 is reveal. And this is really where we talk about the dysfunction that's in our current environment that we've created. Right. The companies and employee relationships have never been more strained. How we hire, recruit, retain, promote, all of that stuff has never been more broken. And there's, while there's small glimmers of hope in certain companies, a systemic fix to this is just not in the foreseeable future. And so you need to understand the environment you're playing in so you can succeed. Just because it's messed up doesn't mean you give up, right? You just find it's like, oh, okay, now here's what we're playing on. So the first chapter is really about reveal. So if you're in that position where you're thinking about a career change or thinking about doing a job change, lean in there first, because that's really going to help you realize, aha, this is why things are so messed up. And more importantly, this is how I play differently. The second part of this book is about align. And so we spend so much time trying to fit in to our employers, to the culture, to our coworkers, but we never put ourselves first. And a lot of times when we were asking, like, what lights you up? What really, how do you align to the things that are most important to you? We get the dead stare. It's like, I don't know, haven't had a chance to think about it. So we really dig into what should you be aligning to? And it's things like falling into the loyalty trap and, treating your career like a business and all of those types of things that we talk about. So we talk about align in the second chapter. So if you're still trying to figure out, I know I don't like this, but I don't know what I do like, start there. Now, the third section is my favorite because it is disrupt. And disrupt is where you break all the rules. And so there's so many rules that hold us back. And Walter, from a long time ago, we talk about the 5 lies, the rules that hold us back. And so we really dig into how do you start to say BS to the things that are holding us back and play different. And so we get really into a lot of tactics with that. So that's our disrupt. And then our 4th chapter is thrive. And so from a thrive perspective, it's like, how do you take all the things that you do and level up your leadership? How do you become that leader people choose to follow? How do you leave that legacy? There's chapters in there about diversity, the difference between equity and equality and how we really reach that balance. And so there is something in here for everyone.
Excellent. Listen, it is very exciting. So in my coaching, and as we have discussed in the past, our target audience is slightly different, but we have the Gen Zs and the millennials. They live 2 to 3 years at best. They're loyal to nobody other than themselves. They create their own pathways, and they often very disruptive and move around. But there's a large group of people that have feel they have gotten stuck into jobs, into a specific industry, and they feel like they got pigeonholed
Yes.
into a space that they cannot get out of. Right? I had a good conversation earlier in the week with somebody who works in the long-term care world. Phenomenal, brilliant mind, has all the credentials, all the degrees, but she really would like to go into population health management and work in a hospital. How do I get from point A to point B? So talk a little bit about, and again, the 4 chapters, help support that. But you have a scenario where you took somebody, because obviously you wrote about your experiences, how you took somebody who felt pigeonholed and really go through these process steps in order to get them to take that risk, to be courageous, and to go on a new career path where they feel more fulfilled.
Yeah. And the key to this, there's 3 key elements to being able to make a successful pivot, right? The first one is we're going to start in the middle of the book with a line. And what are the things that light you up? What are the things we focus so much on? What are our skills? What's our marketability? What's the latest buzzword, the latest certification, the latest, all these things that are going to help us get bigger paychecks and bigger titles. But the reality is none of that matters, at least not at first. So as you're looking to make a pivot, you want to think about what are the things that you can do every day and never be tired. Right? What are those things that energize you so much that, you're more excited about the end of the day than you are when you started it? We all have a few things that light us up. We have a lot of things we're good at and a few things that light us up. And so when you lean into what lights you up, that is where you start. Because from those core activities are a million careers you can pivot into, right? In terms of the options. So you do that. And then you look at the environments that you really have the opportunity to thrive in. We always have this scarcity mindset when we're thinking about making a change. And the reality is you have not spent your entire career being a failure or you wouldn't be here. And so why do you think all of a sudden that the next thing is not going to work out, right? We've got these pockets where everything came together. We're happy, we're fulfilled, we're making an impact. And then we assume that, well, we just can't have that all the time. Well, yeah, you can. And you can when you go back and analyze those situations that were in your sweet spot and find them. Right. So between the energizing and that culture, those values and vibe, that's step 1. Right. Step 2 is you want to find opportunities where your superpowers that we just talked about are in high demand and in short supply. Because there's so much change going on within organizations and healthcare and everything else that companies have got to be much more dynamic. And that what that means is that the skills that they organically have within their organization are lacking. They actually need people from the outside to be able to bring in expertise in industries that have had the headwinds, and experience. And so there's so many opportunities where the knowledge that you take for granted is so desperately needed and almost impossible to find that you turn into rock star status immediately, right? So step 2 is really figuring out that high demand, short supply. And then really to make that ultimate pivot, you've got to understand what are the dynamics, how do you show up differently, and how do you use the fact that you're doing something you've not done before, not only as a give me a chance, because that's how most people show up, right? But as a competitive advantage. It's like, I'm better because I'm different. And that's really where, this 3-step process, just to simplify, a lot of it, you get those 3 things right, and you're writing your ticket to whatever you want to do next.
Excellent. It is the scary statistic I read not too long ago that only 28% of the workforce goes to work on Monday morning with a smile on their face. That's a tremendous 72% of the people who could benefit from this book and be disruptive in their own lives in a calculated way.
Correct.
So that alone should get you to 2,000 or 20,000 books sold, not just the 200 that I
200,
mentioned.
right? Yeah.
So to wrap it up, so what is the tangible takeaway? Because we all know I can go to webinar, workshop, Monday morning, I remember nothing. What is it that is in the book that if I take away that I can take action on a daily basis that would change that habit and behavior that can lead to the outcomes that you desire? Which is going to work on Monday morning with a big smile on my face. We can cut this out and or leave it in. We'll call it the blooper, right?
Whatever. The blooper is like, okay, I can't hear you. I can see you talking. I know what you're asking me. I want to make sure.
So to wrap it up, the conversation is very interesting, and the book sounds fantastic. On the end of the day, I don't believe in workshop and webinars and conferences other than being good social events, because Monday morning we forget about all that was said. Maybe just some good memories about chatter around the table. Your book, after they have read it, what can they take away from it that they can do on a day-to-day basis to have that opportunity to get into that group of people that can go to work every Monday morning with a smile on their face?
So, the end result of going through the book and, having that, it's experiential learning. It really is. And because I think it's about getting out of your head and taking action. And this book forces you to do that if you follow along, right? You can obviously read
Yep.
wherever you want to go, but it puts you in the situation where you can actually start to take those actions that you need to. And they're not heroic steps. They're baby steps here and there that make a big, big difference. But at the end of the day, you are going to leave after having read this book with an entirely different perspective on how to manage your career, how to think about it, how to navigate it, and to give it the credit it deserves and the impact it has in your whole life satisfaction. We think, okay, bad job, good life, really hard to do that. So if your job sucks, pretty much your life is not going to live to its fullest potential either. And so the upside of getting this right isn't just about a paycheck and a title. It's about being more present and having relationships and leaning into the things that you love to do in terms of your personal passions and all of these things that come along with it. So when you're done reading this book, not only why it's important to take control, but how to take control and the steps to do so make sure that you're never in this position again.
Excellent. I look forward to picking up a hard copy.
Okay.
It better be signed.
Yep, you bet.
So where can we find you?
Okay, so you can find us at careerwinnercircle.com. So my coaches and I are at the ready, happy to talk to anybody who's, want to level up their leadership, maybe think about doing some career strategy or some career changing work. So we're happy to support, clients that come through the Career Winner Circle as well. So you can find the book. You can, I'm doing keynote speeches and workshops and things like that just to really help make this message more accessible to more people. So you don't have to lean into a private coaching session, at a high ticket item for, 6 months to get where you want to go. And so between speaking and workshops and all of those things, as well as the book and some of the other group coaching programs that we have that support the book, there's just something for everyone there. So if you want to make a change at any point in time or really start to take that control, we've got you covered.
Excellent. Tammy, as always, great connecting with you. Make sure you wear sunscreen lotion in Mexico. I will put my gloves and hat on.
Freezing here
and
today,
protect myself.
Right?
No way.
I have a sweater on. I'm freezing today. This is not the Yucatan, right? We're in Mexico. It was high and cold today, but yeah.
There you go. Well, stay warm then. I look forward to hopefully connecting with you in New York City when you come into town next.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you
pleasure.
to the audience. I hope that you got some real valuable lessons out of this. Pick up Tammy's book on Amazon or come visit her at a book release. I promise you that you will not regret spending your dollars and spending some quality time. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening and a happy holidays to everybody.
Thanks, Walter.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.